So tell me, why are you giving this access, this intimate access to the documentary now?
Because I'm an idiot and a masochist. The filmmaker, Neil Berkeley, he came up to me like about over 2 years ago and said, I've always had a dream to make a Gilbert Gottfried documentary. And I said, you should really set your dreams much higher than that. But that's what he wanted to do. And then he just started following me around. And I felt uncomfortable every single second with him. I hated it. And I'm too much of a wimp to go get away from him. And so, yeah, I've been... And revealing myself, it always seemed like that scene, and I talk about it in the documentary, like from Wizard of Oz. Don't look at that man behind the curtain. And that's so, you see the man behind the curtain, and I hate it.
So you've seen the documentary. How do you feel?
Yeah.
How do you feel about the documentary?
The documentary to me feels like what hell, my envision of hell is. Like the first thing you do is you're forced, they put a big movie screen in front of you and you're forced to watch your whole life. And like the reviews have been surprisingly great reviews I've read. But boy, to me it's torture when I watch that. I'm happy to watch myself as like Pierre the chef in a movie or a TV show. I don't want to watch myself as myself.
What inspires some of your filthy jokes?
The fact that I have a low intelligence and no class whatsoever.
Tell us about some of your work with different medical associations. I know you do a bit in the movie with cancer, and then you popped up in a documentary last year called Life Animated.
Yes. All of it happens more by accident. I feel like I can do wonderful things as long as I'm not directly involved. If I'm directly involved, then there's a lawsuit and a scandal. The Life Animated, is the name of the documentary. It had to do with a man who had an autistic son who could not communicate with anyone. He was falling deeper and deeper, but he would watch Disney films constantly. And one day, the son had a puppet of my character Iago from Aladdin. So the father put that on his hand, and he started imitating me and started talking to his son. And the son reacted like it was an old friend. And then my wife and I got in touch with him. She called him up, and then he had me surprise his son, who was in this school for autistic children. And he had a Disney club, and they were reenacting Aladdin, and I walked in, and they went crazy. The other thing, and another thing I just got asked to do was a charity event for St. Jude's Hospital, and that was, and that they showed the film, and that was. I remember that because it was one of those things where I thought, boy, for somebody who goes out of their way to get into trouble, I was thinking, I am going to get in majorly trouble here. I mean, it's a hospital for little children, and surprisingly or unsurprisingly, and it shows. I mean, there was a man speaking right before I went on about his daughter being diagnosed with cancer, and people are tearing up. They're crying there, and he's getting choked up remembering it. And I go up there, and I'm thinking, this is really officially going to end my career. I go up there and I'm doing like, you know, so there's this blind guy goes to a hooker, and that level of jokes, and the audience is laughing, and I gotta, they loved it, and I looked over at the man whose daughter had cancer, and he was smiling, and he had a glow around his face, and I thought it was one of those things like, see, this is what comedy can do in a tragic situation. It's why I'm always drawn when there's a major tragedy. The first thing I want to do is crack jokes about it, no matter how poor taste. And it's like I got a standing ovation there. They stood up to leave, but still. So in that case, I get a standing ovation at every show I do.
And just to conclude, you mentioned Aladdin already.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on the live-action remake?
Oh, the live action. Oh, and I should mention I have a podcast, Gilbert Gottfried's Amazing Colossal Podcast.
Yes, I saw some there's clips in the documentary.
Oh, yes. But if I have a chance to talk about myself,
By all means.
close I'll be selling some socks with my picture on it. Yeah, the live action one, I think they haven't asked me to do it, so I think any film that doesn't use me is making a major mistake. Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Well, thank you so much.
Oh,
I really appreciate
thank
it.
you.
Congratulations on the documentary.